Do you ever feel like your clothes just don't fit like they used to? Suddenly your favorite jeans feel like they've shrunk in the dryer, except they didn't? Sound familiar? Well, at least for some women in their 50s, 40s even. Anyway, it all seems very mysterious. Because this shift in your body's metabolism is super sneaky and so frustrating. Like that extra belly fat, the weariness, it can feel like your body is working against you. And it kind of is, because there's a lot of changes in midlife that wind down metabolism, making it harder to maintain our energy, your fitness, and just your overall health. And understanding a bit about what's happening and some of the things that you can do is the first step to feeling like yourself again. So the first thing I want to talk about is building muscle. It's a metabolic engine that needs to be kept up. Because starting as early as your 30s, we all begin to lose muscle, about 3 to 5% every decade. But why does muscle matter so much? Well, it's metabolically active. It burns more calories than fat. So think about it. Even when you're relaxing or while you're sleeping, you'll continue to burn extra calories as you build more muscle. And since we tend to lose it with age, it's like trying to warm up your living room with candles instead of a cozy fire, which also means that bowl of pasta you had for dinner now just sticks around a little bit longer than it used to. Also, in midlife, muscle loss accelerates due to hormonal changes, such as declining estrogen. That's why even with no major changes in your diet or exercise, you might notice more fat and less tone. Because besides supporting muscle mass, estrogen affects how your body uses glucose, stores fat, and impacts thermogenesis. This means as estrogen declines, your body is just naturally burning fewer calories at rest than it used to. That's why weight gain can sneak up, even if you've been eating and moving the same as you've always been. So let's prioritize strength training. I've started to, and can really feel a difference in my energy levels. Well, not just my energy, but my confidence. I actually feel better about myself. So while I haven't lost all the fat I've wanted to, yet, and who knows, I may not, but since I'm lifting more, I actually feel okay even if I don't. I think that's the confidence strength training gives us. Not just a visible outer strength, but an inner strength too. So new challenges feel less intimidating, like doing this podcast. So, getting back to it, I used to mainly focus on cardio, but kept hearing from a lot of experts about how strength training is key when you get older, and it really drove home, quite literally. About a year ago, while visiting my parents, my mom had a fall, and she didn't have the strength to pick herself up from the floor. It was a terrible situation. Plus, I could barely lift her up, which was quite depressing for myself as well. So I'm determined to make sure when I'm older, I don't find myself in that situation. And if that were ever to happen again, I should be capable of effortlessly lifting someone off the floor. I hope. So whether it's lifting weights, doing body weight exercises, or taking resistance type fitness classes, just do some strength training exercises. Remember to start slow, increasing incrementally to help build muscle and boost metabolism. And if you're just starting out, you can try walking with weights or even ankle weights and incorporate daily movement into your routine, even stretching, to prevent long periods of inactivity. Plus, it helps to work with a trainer to make sure you're lifting properly. Next up is stress. Another big hit to your metabolism is how hormonal shifts can trigger chronic stress. Unfortunately, what makes midlife even more complex is that your body starts producing more cortisol, known mostly as the stress hormone. As a side note, we actually need cortisol. It has important functions for our immune system and metabolism. It is necessary and helpful, until it's not. I mean, too much can create what many women call the stress belly, as it stores fat mainly in your midsection. too much or dysregulation not only contributes to weight gain, but also increases the risk of metabolic syndrome. It also draws energy from muscle, further slowing that metabolic fire. Chronic stress is actually an underlying factor of many health issues. So one thing to really understand is that your ability to de-stress is just as important as what you're eating and your workouts. So yeah, in my workshops, we talk about the science behind how taking time out for yoga, meditation, breath work, which are just some examples that can help balance your stress, plus recommendations for nutrition and supplements that can help your body properly regulate cortisol. Another compelling point we discuss is that it's possible to manage stress better by just knowing more about your genes. And while there are several stress-related genes, a couple I want to call out here are COMT and MAOA. These are two major enzymes involved in the control and breakdown of neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, even estrogen, all which can affect your mood, focus, and your response to stress. So that segue is my third main way to support metabolism and optimize it by getting to know your own genomic blueprint. Because genes influence everything from how your body processes nutrients and stores fat to managing stress and inflammation. Understanding this can help you optimize your body's metabolism. For example, if you have certain variants in, say, your PPARG or your FADS genes, you may not adequately metabolize fats or regulate insulin. I'll probably do a whole segment on FADS genes because having multiple key variants may impair how efficiently the body metabolizes or converts certain essential fats like omega-3s and omega-6 into their biologically active forms like EPA and DHA, which impacts inflammation plus our cellular energy and cell membrane structure for our body and brain health. So, since I mentioned inflammation, another common thing is having some inflammatory genes that are overactive, especially when paired with underactive protective genes. Then along comes some environmental factor like mold or glyphosate, which can then set off an inflammatory cascade and damage our cells. Actually, this is exactly what I discuss in my cellular synergy workshop, by the way. If any of this resonates with you, you can find the link to my free masterclass in the description. So, also considering your genetic strengths and vulnerabilities can be a game changer for your health and well-being. Thank you for listening. I truly hope you'll continue to join me on this journey of recalibration.